I'm going to try one shooting of No Pros Memorial Day special. So I'm going to try to mount a scope similar to the one that I have on my 3622. Try using one of my Weaver scopes, which are about as basic as you get, a 4x9x40. Probably take a couple days getting it on, printing out that target, and we'll try shooting on the 31st of May. Well, I got the Weaver scope on. This scope only costs $50. It'll work for here. I missed going up to Memorial Day things this year, but this rifle kind of applies to Memorial Day, Veterans Day for sure because of the walnut stock. Used it on several videos on Veterans Day, but this is the first Memorial Day because normally I go up to Quincy, Illinois area. That's where all my relatives are from, and there's a little story I could share that relates to this. Memorial Day for us is sharing stories about often the same stories, so they get passed down. And one of them can apply to walnut stock on Army rifles, which I guess that applies to Memorial Day. So we go to all these cemeteries up in the Quincy, Illinois area. We start telling these stories, and most of the stories involve the veterans that are buried there, but some civilians as well. Anyways, one of the last cemeteries we go to is near the Quincy Airport. Probably 500 yards off the north edge of it is an old cemetery called Mount Pleasant Cemetery. The Mount Pleasant Cemetery's got some of the oldest relatives or ancestors, and they go back to the Revolutionary War, and their name was Lawless. But there's all these Lawlesses buried in there. And one of them, I don't even know his first name. His job, he was a banker. And they put him in a position of prestige. And at World War I, the U.S. Army needed to procure a lot of war material. And one of the things that they needed to procure quickly was walnut for the 1903 Springfield. This guy's job was a procurement manager, or we call him contracting officer these days in the Army, but it was basically the same thing. He was letting out the contract and awarding the contract. And so one of his biggest jobs in World War I was to find the appropriate guy for walnut, and a massive amount of walnut. It was in the millions. That is a lot of walnut. So he awarded the contract to a farmer in Adams County, Illinois, near Quincy. And speaking of walnut, it sounds so good. I think he was served honorably, and the war finishes, and a couple of years later he was shot. And the reason is the guy that didn't get the contract apparently lost everything, and he took it personal, hunted this Lawless down, and murdered him. So in my great-grandpa's diary, he says Lawless was murdered. And so each year, one of the tombstones in that Mount Pleasant Cemetery is that guy. And it says on his tombstone, for posterity, such and such Lawless, murdered. So it goes back to the procurement of walnut for the guns back in World War I. So thought I'd share that little story for you with the World War I Memorial Day flavor. So I'm going to finish up with this, and on the 31st, the first real Memorial Day, which was at the end of the Civil War, by the way, I'll shoot No Pros with this 100-year anniversary. I'm grouping probably quarter size. But I decided to go with the pumper because Papa T's Adventures, he says this is the year of the pumper, and I'm a big pumper guy, so let's see how this thing does on that. All right, happy 31st. Got some wasp in here, so gotta watch that, but I'm going to shoot. The sighters, I am using the Crosman hollow point. I used it in the initial video on the 362, and I don't think I've really used much else in here other than the red flight. It does pretty well in this. In the first video I did, the Crosman hollow point had an average speed of 673.6 feet per second, and a nice standard deviation of 1.8. So just stick with it. Oh, where that wasp? I got a wasp in here, and it's a big one. So I'll be fighting that off and on too. I think I got it. I'm back. I decided to come in at towards the end because I can't see if it's hitting that much, even with the buys from 25 yards. Wasps are really a issue, but I've kind of figured out what it is in between things. The tarp, and they're going up in here and getting the water. It's still kind of disturbing to have a big old wasp fly by you, but I'm in mid shooting. I'll have to take care of that later. So let's get back to shooting. See, I had the two. I'm going to go for the one underneath there first. One. And of course, Tim at No Pro, this is a nice design. It's much appreciated. Uh-oh. I don't see the, oh, here it is, down there. You know, I just realized that that target is shaped like the Legion of Merit. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not. Alright, the two big cheeseburgers, and then that little thing that I can't even see in the middle. Whoa, two of them. Oops, I think I missed that one. All right, last shot. Although I can't see it, I can see the letters, and if I remember, it's right below the last stem of the M. I have no idea, but it was a good target, good shoot. Hope you enjoyed the stories. I totaled 105 is what I came up with. Enjoyed this video? If you did, please press the like button and subscribe. Hope to see you back. Hopes.